Okay, greetings from Southern California. Thank you all for attending. We are thrilled you could join us today. My name is Benson Hougland with Opto 22, and we're broadcasting live from our headquarters in Temecula, California. Joining me is my partner in crime and resident Aussie, Ben Orchard.
G'day everyone.
So today's webinar will focus on getting your system on your mobile device for viewing, monitoring, and controlling your automation system simply and securely. We have brand new features to introduce to you today, plus an opportunity to try Groov from your own mobile device or PC. We'll provide a URL and a username and password near the end of this presentation. Okay, in a sentence, what is this thing we call Groov? Well, Groov is a web-based way to build mobile apps for your systems and equipment without any programming or coding. Whether you're monitoring or controlling, Groov can do it, and we're going to show you how. In fact, the quickest way to get a sense of what Groov is and how it works is with a quick demo.
Yeah, no question. Let's just jump in.
Okay, so I'm going to switch browser tab windows right here, and there you can see we're actually using Groov to demo Groov.
That's right.
So Groov supports live video, so that's what you're seeing there. We got one camera here.
G'day everyone.
Hello everyone. And we have another camera directly above us right here that's shining down on these two mobile devices. So what I'm going to do is log into my mobile device and show you exactly what Groov looks like. So I'm going to log in with my fingerprint here, and let's see if we can get that to go into my Groov. Try that one more time. And there we go. Now, so I've got my screen here, my home page. I've got this little application here called Groov. And so I'm going to click on that icon, and that's going to launch me directly into my demo mode. And in this case here, I am connected to a website called demo.groov.com, viewing the application in my Groov for iOS, a free app store application for Groov. So here you can see I'm going to scroll around. I've got my trends. I've got some buttons for control and whatnot. I even have a nice live video right here in the middle of my phone that is of the fish tank here at Opto. So let me show you a couple of things here. I can press on a button like diver, and I'll see the LED comes on, and I'll soon see the diver moving up and down as the water pressure builds up. You can see some bubbles there. So it's pretty cool. We've got a lot of information here on my screen. I can go and navigate to other screens by pressing home, and I'll come down here to one of my favorites is a Modbus TCP demo. So I'm going to click View Demo there, and then See Live Demo here. And again, all of this is available on the internet for you to view with your own device, and we'll show you how later. Here I'm looking at a power quality analyzer, which is a Modbus TCP device. I can see my my voltage and my frequency. I can see amps over a 5-minute period. I have some nice graphics there as well. But let me show you really something cool about Groov. Here we have Ben's device, which is a Note
4.
Galaxy Note 4.
Yep.
And here I have an iPhone 6. Clearly they're of different sizes, yet the screens look beautiful on both devices. So in other words, I'm able to build screens for my mobile devices and know they'll work on either one.
Exactly. Groov scales to fit the device.
So we can just fill in the area. It looks fantastic. And furthermore, if I want to get a closer look, check this out. If I rotate my phone and tilt it just slightly, I'll actually see that the screen rotates. And once again, it completely fills the screen and very gracefully scales all of that information for me, making it a little easier to see.
Yeah.
So that's really an important feature of Groov, and its ability to scale to fit any device. And right now we're on mobile devices, but it works for tablets, PCs, HD TVs, and so on. We'll show you a lot more of that.
And even though there's a Groov view for Android, I'm actually running native in the browser just so that you can see the difference. You can see I've got a browser URL bar up here, and the Groov app for Android takes that away, just like it does for Groov View for iOS.
Indeed. In fact, a couple other things that the Groov app does is give me access to many other types of Groovs right from a one-click access. And of course, there's also a lot of other features where I can set up lock settings and require passcodes and so on. So the applications are really nice. But again, it works just fine with just a web browser.
Yep.
So I'll resume that thing because I want to show you one other thing that's really cool, and we're going to demonstrate for you today. In Groov 3, we have something called events and notifications.
Yep.
So here's an example. If I I've set up this volcano here so that if somebody presses this volcano, it'll create an event. So I'll know the volcano turned on. And shortly thereafter, that event will get registered. We can see the live video that the volcano is indeed blowing its bubbles there. And then shortly, I'll get a message that's saying that the volcano's on. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
So right there on my screen, a visitor turned on the volcano at a certain time and date. Run for your lives. Turn it back off here. So there's some cool features right inside the message that Ben will demonstrate for you later.
I just got the same event there on my my smart watch, and it's probably about to show up on your
yes, it's there. It is
iWatch
on my
as well.
iWatch as well. So so there you go. Lots of ways
handy.
to be notified when something
Exactly.
occurs in Groov. So
Yep.
pretty exciting there. That's a quick look just to get you excited about what we're going to show you next on how to create these screens and create these events and so on. Okay, so that's the mobile demo. So, where can you use Groov? Well, just about anywhere you can imagine. And to spark your imagination, we've put together a slideshow of various scenarios where our customers have implemented Groov in their own applications. So let's start here. Groov as an operator interface to your machine or equipment.
Right, the advantage here is that the interface, the tablet in this case, is very low cost and it's available from lots of different retail outlets. It's sort of got a UPS built in because it's got the battery as well as power coming in the side. Importantly, Gorilla Glass, really tough front on it, and also importantly, built-in networking.
Yeah, those are great points. And another to keep in mind is that large enclosure manufacturers like Rittal and Hougland are actually building enclosures for these off-the-shelf devices nowadays.
Right, so in this example here, the tablet is mounted directly to the machine. It's just a straight-up machine operator interface.
But there will also be some times when you wish to be mobile with your tablet in the same type of environment, perhaps to monitor and control a line of machines rather than just a single one.
Right, I think the ultimate example of that is a facilities guy. How many facility guys do you know that sit at their desk all day?
Yeah, not many, and certainly not ours.
Exactly. But what's in their pocket? A smartphone. So now with Groov, with events and notifications, they can be walking around doing their job and boom, they're going to get a notification through an email, click on the link, call the data up, and they can respond to it straight away. They don't have to go back to their desk. Great
point. And maybe you actually want to share this kind of information that Groov is collecting with everybody on the plant floor. So we've had customers that take an HD TV that they can get from Costco or whatever for less than $500, and it has the two things that you need for Groov.
Yep, it's got a web browser and a network connection.
Exactly right. So we have our customers are hanging these up in their plant floors and allowing everybody to kind of get a view of what's going on.
And then of course you can even drill down with Groov. You can have supplementary screens where you can display more information on the mobile interface.
Exactly right. So also what we see is a lot of service personnel that can use their mobile devices at customer sites to perform maintenance, troubleshoot issues, and even report back to headquarters whatever their findings were.
Right, exactly. And once they get on site, they just call up that site's Groov screens and boom, there's all the detailed information that they need.
And then in remote locations, many devices like tablets and certainly smartphones have cellular connectivity plus Wi-Fi. So you might be out in a remote location like a solar farm or a wind farm.
Right, and so long as your device is connected to the network, it's on the Wi-Fi, you can get the information you need.
Pretty slick. So here's an application that's up in Colorado with one of our customers in an oil and gas application. And here he's got this mobile facility that moves from wellhead to wellhead. And to commission that device, he can use his Groov on an Android tablet.
Yeah, it's really cut down the commissioning time for these guys. It's a really good use case. Another thing, a big advantage here of these low-cost tablets is you can start placing them around in buildings for building management. Here we're using a low-cost Android tablet as an operator interface to our conference room. So it's super easy for the different users to come in and configure the lighting and the room to suit their meeting.
Pretty slick. And then let's not forget that, of course, you can use Groov from your PC. In fact, the PC is the typical platform used to build your Groov systems and your screens and then test and deploy them. But they can also make a terrific kiosk system as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts here. How is Groov packaged for use in applications like the ones we just viewed? Well, we have two options. First, the industrially hardened Groov appliance, affectionately called the Groov box, and
Groov Server for Windows. It's a software download for use with Microsoft Windows.
So which one do you choose? Well, use the Groov box in challenging environments because it's industrially hardened and it uses no moving parts of any kind, including spinning media like a hard drive. And it isn't subject to Windows updates, and the total cost of ownership that's typically high is associated with PCs and so on. You literally just plug it in and it works.
Right, but if you're in a corporate environment where you've got an IT department and maybe they're running a server room and they want the software in there, then that's no problem. The software can run on everything from a PC to server class rack-mounted PCs. And of course, it's ideal also for machines that already have a PC in them. It's a very small software footprint, so you can run Groov alongside your existing machine software.
Good point. And remember that you can move your projects between the two anytime you need to. So you could start off on...
Right, you could be developing on your laptop and then get it all working the way you want it and deploy it to your Groov box.
Awesome. So there's a lot of new features in version 3 of Groov, and we'll spend a few minutes catching you up on all the cool new stuff you can now do with Groov. And I know there's a number of you on the webinar today that are current Groov users, so this information could serve as an update to what you already have. And remember, as long as your maintenance is up to date, all of these features are available to you to download and use today.
For free. For
free, no cost. So we're going to talk about events and notifications, new build features, and simulated tags.
So the biggest feature, without question, is events and notifications. Right now, rather than having to look at your Groov screen to see if something's gone awry, you can be notified proactively. It's very cool.
So let's get into the pieces and parts here of the events and notifications. The first, of course, is creating the event. So you give it an event name, and then you determine on what condition does that event trigger. Is something equal or not equal, above or below a limit, in or outside of a range, and then we add things like hysteresis and debounce to filter out noise so that events don't get triggered nuisantly,
right,
as a nuisance.
Yeah, and you're not just limited to one tag either. You can have multiple conditions and you can stack them up with like an and or an or. So all these events or one of the events triggers the notification.
You can build some pretty sophisticated event logic.
You can, yeah, it's very powerful.
So the second part of it, if you choose to use it, it's optional, is the notification. So if an event is triggered, you can be notified by email or text to one or many people, and all of your accounts that are set up within Groov, you supply an email address and you can add them from right here.
And you can very easily build custom messages that go with either the start or the end of the event as well. And you can include things like the condition tags, other project tags, and date timestamps.
And Ben's going to give you a great demo of exactly how that works coming up in just a moment.
But don't forget, the events really stand alone of their own. And it's really key because we've got a couple of ways of looking at it. First of all, we've got this overview screen that you can see here where it lists all of your events graphically. You can see them. It's very quick to see. Right now, the volcano is active. It's blue. Line 5 is not active. It's black.
Good point. And then what's also important is that we are logging all of these events right to the media on the Groov box or to the PC and Windows Groov Server for Windows. So we can view those historic event logs directly from within the Groov View interface. We can filter on those events based on name, message, time, date, whatever you want.
You can also download these logs. So you can download them as CSV, comma-separated variable text file, and then you can import them to Excel or to another reporting piece of software or something like that and really start to do some deep analysis and some other graphs and things like that if you want to.
And that's really powerful because you can just go in whenever you need to and download all the event logs and store them somewhere so you have a record of everything that had occurred. So the other cool thing about Groov 3 is we've added some very slick new editing tools. So for those of you who've created Groov screens before, and even for those of you that haven't, we've got some really terrific tools for like Lasso Select, which allows you to, in one fell swoop and a click and drag, select many objects on the screen and move those to where they need to be.
Right, and then you can right-click once you've selected those objects and it pops up another menu. So now you've got things like you can align left, top or bottom, and you can also resize to smallest and largest and things like that. It's very powerful.
Absolutely. So that's a big deal. The other thing we've added in Groov 3 is a simulated tag database. So now we have a whole bunch of internal tags that you can use however you want. Variables including Boolean floats, ints and strings, trend waves, arrays, and even user controllable tags.
Right, now this may not sound like a big deal at the surface, but what we're finding is people are really genuinely getting excited about this, because what it enables them to do is to build functional proof of concept pages that they can then demo to co-workers or other customers or other people that are involved in the project, and they can see them with no external hardware. So you can download the Groov free trial, build a fully functional screen for your system the way you want it to look with no external hardware.
I can see this being really valuable for integrators who want to show their customers how they can build a mobile interface, but not necessarily connect directly to their system.
Absolutely, yep.
So pretty excited about that. So why Groov? What is it about Groov that makes it unique from other products that are on the market that claim to also provide mobile interfaces? Well, the list is long, but we'll start here. First, Groov is just super fast and simple and secure. There's no programming, there's no coding, there's no software to download and install on a Windows computer to build your screens and all that's typical what we see with the other systems. All you need is a web browser on any PC, and it could be a Linux, Mac, it could be a Windows PC, and then once you're in the interface, everything is just drag and drop. I mean, literally, a child could put these screens together.
Yep, no question. The other thing that makes Groov very unique is Groov is secure. You know, no matter what device you're using, whether it's mobile or desktop, you have to address security. It's so important. Groov is using industry standard, time-proven technologies to make it secure. There's just no reason not for it to be secure. So here we're employing both encryption and authentication. With encryption, we're using HTTPS, and then when you get to your Groov screen, you have to authenticate with a username and password. On top of that then, we've actually got 4 levels of user access, from admin all the way down to kiosk user. So there's a lot of flexibility on how you build out your security profile for your different users. So it uses the same encryption and authentication as, say, your banking website. And it only uses secure ports. Port 80, which is non-secure, doesn't even respond.
Yeah, we just shut that port off. There's no point in, I mean, security today is so important. There's no reason to try to employ a solution that doesn't, utilize these standard technologies that allow very secure connections to the device. Another thing that makes Groov very unique is that it scales to fit any device. We have no idea what the future holds relative to new mobile devices and, whether it's going to be wearables or all the way up to big screen TVs. It could be different screen sizes, different aspect ratios. Whatever it is, Groov's got you covered. All screens will always automatically scale for any given device.
Yeah, I love this. You saw it briefly in the demo with Benson, the difference between the iPhone and the Note 4. I actually built the fish tank screen and I didn't have to worry about, I wonder what screen size somebody's going to view this on. You build it once, deploy it, and it's going to scale to fit.
Yeah, that's a real time saver.
Oh, it's huge.
So many times at trade shows and while visiting new customers, we get a question about, well, who is behind Groov? Well, Opto is, and we bring decades of experience in helping customers develop critical applications worldwide, backed by free support, engineering assistance, and free documentation.
Yeah, it's a little bit humorous, but because of the Australian accent, and I've shown, I've featured in a few of the Groov videos, people sometimes think, well, what's this Groov? Is this Australian? No, you need to know that Groov is designed and developed, manufactured here in Temecula. It's just south of Los Angeles in Southern California. So you can be absolutely confident that Groov is made in the USA.
Yeah, we're pretty proud of that, and we know that
me too.
Some of our customers are pretty particular about that as well, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So why should you care about any of this? Well, Groov is quite simply the easiest, most secure way to get your system on your mobile from anywhere a network connection is available. You can respond to events in real time, get notifications, and view your system on any mobile device, PC, or HTTP via the ubiquitous web browser.
Yep, that really wraps it up.
So how does Groov work in my system? What we've done here, Ben, is we put together a couple of application and network scenarios so you can kind of see how Groov fits into any kind of given application. And we'll use this simple block diagram at first to illustrate the basic components in a Groov network architecture. So as shown here, we've got our, the heart of the system really is the network with all your systems, PCs, and even the Groov box all connected together. Then for mobile device use, your network is wirelessly accessible, typically through Wi-Fi, and that's how it makes its connection to the network.
Okay, so what's this look like in a more sort of friendly graphic image here?
Great point. So here we go. We'll replace the block diagram with the real-world devices and systems, and you can see here how Groov is connected through the access point and to the Modbus BAS or building automation system, and accessing the data and page views from a PC or wireless mobile devices is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I see that. That's I could even hook that together just off the picture.
Right, so this is clearly the very basic architecture, what we call infrastructure mode, but we also have a lot of customers who want to access their systems off-premise. So maybe they're at home or they're traveling, whatever it might be, they want to use the internet to access their systems. So what we recommend is using VPN technology, and most companies today have VPN access to resources and files and folders and so on their corporate network. And the way they allow secure access to that is through this technology called VPN, or Virtual Private Network. What's cool about this is two things. One, it provides a whole nother layer of security because VPN tunnel traffic is encrypted. And then two, to get to the VPN and get onto the corporate network, you again have to put on a username and password.
You have to authenticate, exactly. The other thing that's really important with VPN is Android and Apple both have VPN clients built into their operating systems. So your mobile phone or your tablet is trivial to set up to connect to the corporate VPN.
Yeah, it's a great point. Now, we've also had some concerns about, well, if I'm allowing access from the internet to my industrial automation system, how do I get another layer of protection in there? Here's the good news. We have actually a Groov box right here in front of us. I'm going to show you this right here. We have it connected just to some power, so we have a lit up display here. But you can see here it has two Ethernet ports, and these ports are completely segmented and separated from each other. So the idea, and I'll go back to my screen here, is that we connect one of those ports to the IT network and the second port to your automation network. And what that means is you've completely segmented the automation and IT networks from each other. There's no way to get from the internet through on the network to your automation system. All you can do is see what's provided through the Groov pages.
On top of that then though, you can also then maybe have a corporate username and password that only has read-only screens, but then your industrial automation network, their username and password lets them get in and actually control the machine.
That's a great point, because that account access that you create within the Groov environment gives you a lot of flexibility in how you build those screens.
Yep.
I think you have a demo of that coming up as well.
Yep.
So when we look at that again with real-world pictures, we're kind of getting a sense of, even though we're using the IT network to provide the wireless LAN connectivity, we can connect to automation's systems on its own dedicated network through Groov and do so securely.
Exactly. You're not going to be able to do program downloads or firmware changes or anything like that on your industrial automation network through the Groov. All you're going to be able to do is view the Groov screens that you've built.
So I think we've illustrated here, with the combination of things like VPN, our own HTTPS and TLS security, username and authentication, wireless passwords, the list goes on. You really can create a secure system with Groov.
Got a lot built in.
For sure. Okay, so I think this is a great time, Ben, for you to take over and actually demonstrate for everybody exactly how we get all this done.
I get to drive the mouse. Excellent. Yep. So what I want to do is just run you through some Groov screens that we've built here using the simulator tags to give you a bit of a look at some of the graphics. Because people ask us, they say, well, how complicated or how simple can these graphics be? And the nice thing is that you can make it as clean or as complicated as you need. So we're just showing you some of the options here. We've got, as I said, some simulator tags here. We can turn things on and off, and we've got some trends, and we've got some nice graphics. We've got different background colors.
Hey Ben, on those graphics, those are really nice graphics, and one of the cool things about Groov is we can build these kind of images and graphics external to Groov and import them in.
And then bring them in. We've got PNG, SVG, JPEG, bitmap, GIFs. We've got a lot of image file types that we support, absolutely. Here's a great example also of a read-only screen. See, these are indicators, these buttons, and I've got indicator gauges. There's no control of the rail switch yard, yet I can monitor it from Groov. So that's an example of a read-only screen. Here again, we've brought in a graphic, we've got some dials, we've got linear gauges, and we've got a trend. So it gives you a good feel for how you can build these. Now, this one here is not simulated. This is actually real. I've hooked up to a Modbus TCP meter that's connected up to our fish tank. You saw the fish tank earlier in the demo, and we can see live data here from a Modbus TCP device. Now you've seen me navigating here using the page navigator, but we've also got the traditional page navigator up here. So we've got different categories, and then we've got pages under those categories. So let's go up to the page here. What I want to demonstrate here in the remainder of the demo, we're actually going to go into build mode here. So because I've logged in with PC administrator rights, I can click up on the gear icon and I'm authenticated to go into build mode. So have a look at this. Boom. I've just completely loaded the entire build environment for Groov in the same browser tab as where I was just viewing live data a moment ago. No extra downloads or anything. It's that quick to swap backwards forwards.
So if you have the right user account access, in this case you're an admin, it doesn't matter where you are, what PC you're on or anything.
Yeah, it's another thing I really love. Exactly. I can tweak these pages from anywhere. So let's have a quick look at that. Under Configure, Accounts, here's an example of some of the different levels that we've got. We've got Admin, Operator, Kiosk. There's a third one here called Editor that we don't have configured here. But it gives you an idea of lots of different user authentication. We can also then group our pages and we can make different categories where people can be clustered under. So you can have a corporate group or a industrial automation group, for example, or operator, machine operator.
Or a manager group.
Exactly.
It's just read-only screens.
Right, exactly. You get the idea. There's lots of flexibility built in there. So over here, let's start at the top. Let's take a look at this build environment. Here's where we can see our categories and then our pages under those categories. And down below that is the page properties. Here's where we can change different things about the page. There's one thing I want to show you here. We've got this sand colored background color. Let's click and go to this dark color. Now, it's a little bit subtle, but what actually happened there is the gadgets rethemed themselves based on the background color. And that is a huge time saver. I just love that. You can give the page a completely different look and feel just from a simple click of a button. It's really powerful. In the middle then, where obviously the graphics are, is what we call the canvas. Now here we've got the desktop and tablet, but you saw Benson earlier demonstrate the handheld view. Here's our handheld view. This is where Benson earlier showed you the fish tank area. So what we're looking at here is more of a portrait orientation, which you're going to see on your handheld device. Now this area out to the right here on the canvas is called our stash area. Here's where we can stash any graphic elements, gadgets, or images that we don't want to show up in either view. Both desktop and tablet and the handheld have this stash area.
So Ben, what we might do here is a large graphic that might take up a lot of bandwidth on a mobile device, so maybe think is not so important. We might move that to the stash area.
Right, and a classic one where I do this a lot is streaming video. You know, I'll have streaming video on the PC view, but not necessarily on the mobile view. Yeah, exactly. So continuing our tour now around to the bottom right, we have our tag area. And here's where we get to configure our different devices and tags. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Usually you want to start out here by adding a new device. So we've got a couple of options here. We've got an Opto 22 controller and an OPC UA server. Now this allows you to connect to a lot of different devices, Benson.
Exactly right. I mean, you look at the Kepware KEPX server, and that's an OPC UA server. So now it has hundreds of different drivers that communicate to, boy, just about anything you can think of.
Right, yeah.
And then they expose all that information via OPC UA. So Groov is an OPC UA client.
Right.
So it can connect to that server and automatically bring in all the tags right into the browse interface, so you can build your screens from that.
Yeah, very powerful, like Siemens, Yokogawa, Allen Bradley, Rockwell.
Sure.
Yeah.
Schneider, and even things like Emerson's Delta V, and the
Right.
list goes on. It's
Right.
really a lot of drivers.
We've also now got the Modbus device, and I just want to show you that because we've got our SATEC power meter here in the fish tank area, IP address, typical Modbus port of 502. Here's where we configure our Modbus tags. So you can see the usual data type and the tag address, but we've got a really sweet feature here where we've got a tag address builder. And so this is going to help you build your Modbus address to correctly get the data out of the Modbus device. We've also got a really sweet import option here where you can have a CSV file with all of your registers laid out, and this is a real time saver if you've got, say, multiples of the same device. You just want to pull in all the registers but give them a different IP address.
Or maybe you have tens and maybe even 100 different tags, and typing those in all individually might take longer than just doing it in a...
There we go. Yeah, that's another
Excel
good
sheet.
use case as well. So there's our devices and tags. Also down in the bottom right is our gadgets. So here all of our gadgets are lined up here, and above that then in the top right is the gadget properties. Depending on the type of gadget that you select over on the canvas, the properties are going to change accordingly. So here we've selected the round gauge, and you can see we can set our max min value and needle color, number of decimal places, but you can also set up your zones here. So we've got two zones, a red and a green, and you can see those in the gauge. So let's go ahead now and actually add our gadget. So I'm gonna use the new feature here of lassoing these two items. I'm gonna move them over. Now I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna get my slider gadget. I'm gonna move him over, and we wanna hook him to a simulated tag for the tank level, so that if the tank gets too full, we'll get a notification for it. So let's go ahead and select our simulated tag for that, and I'm just going to jump into a basic variable here, float 32, and let's go ahead and make that 0 to 100%. Tank level, and our units is a percent there. Excellent. And we're done on that. Oh, I'm just going to flip it vertical. And now we can move this guy up and put it exactly where we want it, make it the same size as the other two. Let's check out our handheld view here, and you can see that what's happened is as we were adding gadgets and elements to our desktop view, it's been automatically added to our handheld view. And you can start with either view and just swap between the two, and you'll soon build up a great looking display. So that's it. We've got it placed on the screen. Now let's build our event. So we're going to configure events, and we're going to create our new event. Now we're going to give it a name, tank level high. Now what I have to do is select the tag, the same tag that we were looking at. So there it is there. Now what we want to do is we want to say, well, if it's above the limit, and for a limit, so I'm going to say if it's above 80%. Now with this tank, we've got some waves, there might be some bouncing around, so I want a debounce time of 3 seconds so that I don't get triggered every time it gets to 80% on a wave. I click add new condition, and here it is parked over the side, and here's where we've got our option to have any event is true, we'll get the notification, or all events is true is our notification.
So I can see here you can go and select another tag, you can set up a different set of conditions, limits, hysteresis, whatnot, start adding it over and get, you can build some pretty sophisticated event logic here.
Yeah, absolutely, yep. So now we get to decide when we're going to get that email. So I just want to know when the tank gets to 80%, not when it drops below it. So let's take a look here. I'm Groov admin, so I'm going to pick up myself. But hey, let's annoy these marketing guys as well. We'll send them an email as well. So now we can get to customize our event message. From standard, Groov is just going to send a very matter-of-fact email that simply says what's happened. But here now we can actually start to build up a custom message. And what we can do is we can include our tags. So here we've got our condition tag. We can see an exact percent because it might get higher than 80%. We're going to add a date timestamp. And also, really importantly here, what we can do is we can now add a link, which is going to show up in our email, and we can just be able to click straight on it in the email, and it's going to take us straight to the mobile browser or the PC browser, and we're going to be able to go straight to that event. We can also set up a custom end message as well if we like. But there we go. In real time, you've just seen us create an event. So once you create it, of course, we've got to show it off. So let's go File, Save All Changes and switch to Groov View. That's now saved all of that. And here's our tank level. So you can see the slider go up and down, and it's reflected in the gauge next to the tank. Now, if I go up and come back in under my 3 seconds, we can see that nothing got triggered. And we can look at the logs here by clicking on the event status icon is what we did there to open this new window. So we can see the current status, and here's our log, and here's where we get to filter, or of course we can export those logs as well, or clear them out. So what we need to do is we need to put our tag over 80%, but what I'd really like to do is show you this on the handheld, show this how this is happening here. So I'm going to open up, and I'm going to go to the tank level, and I'm going to show I'm going to refresh Groov View here.
Well, that's a nice feature. So you just made some changes, changed the background color. So all you need to do is refresh your Groov interface, and you'll get all the new changes.
Absolutely, yeah, it's very handy. So Groov being server-based means that I can just push these changes out very quickly. Okay, so here's our page all loaded up, and I'm going to increase our tank level above 80%, and we're going to get our notification, and we can see that by clicking on the bell icon, and indeed we can see from the summary there tank level is high. So the 3-second timer is up, and it's fired off the
I just heard the email come in.
Yep, there goes my Pebble Time watch. I've just got the email. Tank level is high right there.
Okay, since we're showing off.
Yeah, I popped it up on your iPhone as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely, exactly. So now let's go and take a look at my email here. So I'm going to open up my email, and there it is there. Tank level is high, so I'm going to open that guy up. There's the message that we typed in, and there's the link. So I just click on the link, and it's going to go back and open up my browser and take me straight to the page, and I can see the tank level status straight away there. So there's your demo, Benson. It's a lot of fun. It's very powerful.
Pretty slick.
Yeah, very slick.
So you added a tag, you added a tag and added a gadget, connected those two together, sized it properly for the screen for both the mobile view and the desktop view.
Yep.
Then they created an event looking for the value to go above a limit, and next thing you know, I'm getting an email. All in just about 5 minutes.
Yep.
Pretty slick.
Real
It
time.
doesn't get any easier than that.
Absolutely.
So now we got to talk about how much does this cost? I mean, it's got to be like $1 gazillion, right?
You would think.
No, it's not. We've another thing that we've done with Groov 3 is we've introduced a new pricing option for Groov. So now we have something called Groov Solo. And Groov Solo is designed to communicate with a single device. So this may be ideal for somebody, say an OEM, who is putting a Groov box on their machine to provide a mobile interface to it. They can now pay this lower cost for getting started with Groov. It's $9.95 for Groov Server for Windows, or for the Groov box, $12.95. Again, talks to a single device, either Modbus TCP or to SnapPack controller.
If you want to talk to multiple devices, like multiple Modbus or multiple SnapPack devices, then Groov Plus is your option. And Groov Plus is just $6.95 for the Plus option license. So you can add that at any stage. So you can start out with Groov Solo, and you can run that for as long as you need. And then you say, well, I need this extra device. So you can just upgrade to the Groov Plus option very easily.
And our next option is the Groov Enterprise. Like Groov Plus, this is designed for multiple devices. The difference here is this includes the OPC UA client. So this is designed to connect to an OPC UA server, which may be connected to hundreds or thousands of tags. So in this case, the Groov Enterprise will allow you to gain access to all those tags and build all the screens that you want. Again, can be added at any time, and it's $1,595 over the Groov Solo price.
Right, so you mentioned tags there, Benson. I think it's really important that we let everyone know that all versions include unlimited clients, unlimited number of users, unlimited number of tags, unlimited number of events, unlimited number of pages. You get the idea.
Yeah, we don't impose any limits whatsoever on the application itself. The pricing tiers are simply for the devices that you want to communicate to. So, gone are the days where you have to pay for a 256 tag system or a 500 tag system.
You keep track of this or keep track of that. No, none of that.
Another big one is the client licenses. Everybody wants to charge for every client that's connecting to the system.
Client's a web browser.
Yeah, we think that's crazy.
Bring it on.
It's your mobile device or your web browser, as many clients as you like, and create as many users as you like. So really, there's a lot in this package, and the limitations are very, very few. So we try to make it affordable, ideal for anybody from an OEM up to full plant control.
But here's the best bit. I think so anyway. There's a free trial available to download from groov.com. You log on to there, put your email in, we'll send you a link, you can download it. And the free trial, get this, the free trial is the Enterprise Edition.
That's correct.
It's the full edition. You can talk to as many devices as you need. You can talk to KEP server, you can talk to OPC UA, you can talk to multiple Modbus devices, right for free to get you started.
Now that free trial will run for 2 hours at a time. If you need another 2 hours, all you do is stop and restart the Groov free trial. Not difficult to do, so after 2 hours it times out. But the other thing that's important to remember is if you start building some screens and you got some mobile interfaces done and you really like what you see, all the work that you've done in your free trial is retained. All that work is saved. So if you decide that Groov is right for you and you're ready to move on to the full version, you simply buy the license and apply it directly to the free trial if you like, if the software version is what you're going for.
You don't have to rebuild a single thing. Just put the license file in and you're up and running for longer than 2 hours. It's very easy.
So now we would like to see you guys try this on your own mobile device or your PC. And here's the credentials we promised earlier in the webinar and the URL. HTTPS, don't forget the S, because remember, this is a secure connection to Groov, and in this case it is on the internet. Demo.groov.com, and then use the username trial and the password Opto22.
Also on groov.com is lots and lots of resources. We've got videos, how-to videos, we've got data sheets, we've got more on the networking guide, and we've got a lot of case studies because Groov has been out now for a few years and we've got a lot of people using it.
Yes, our customers that are using Groov today have agreed to share some of the screens that they've done, and we've written case studies about how they've applied Groov technology to solve their business problems, or more importantly, to differentiate them from all the other competitors out there with their own product set. So everybody from OEMs are here, end users, integrators. There's a lot of different applications out there, and this is just a quick screenshot of some of the ones that are featured on our website. Okay, Ben, we covered a lot of ground today, and hopefully you all learned something from this Groov 3 presentation. Great job on the demo, Ben.
No problem. Thanks very much. It's a lot of fun.
And thank you all for tuning in and learning more about Groov 3. We're here to standing by, ready to answer any questions. Give us a call anytime. Pre-sales engineering support is free. Product support's free. We'd love to talk to you about your applications and how we can get your systems on your mobile.
Absolutely.
Thanks so
everyone.
much.
Appreciate it.